Welcome all. Thank you for checking out the Dope Show. If you do enjoy my content, please share it around. It greatly helps out my channel and helps to combat YouTube suppression tactics. By now, most of you have seen Season 2 of The Boys and all of its bloody glory. There are tons of prominent channels posting their reactions and thoughts, so that's not necessarily what this episode is going to be about. I more want to talk to you about the contrast between masterful work that complements or exceeds the source material versus a 3-hour compilation of fun scenes. Now, if I'm a studio executive and my primary interest is money, and I'm like, yeah, man, hey, give me 20 more of those. Give me 20 more movies just like Endgame, right? But since I'm not, I'm just some nobody on SoundCloud and YouTube, I think that, we need to show far more support for video games and movies and shows that dare to go against what's trending, right? Or, what they think is most profitable, or, more importantly, or what makes us feel good when the credits roll. I say we need more movies like Joker or Drive or Dennis. We need more games like Dark Souls or Blasphemous. Now, in terms of superhero, why do we need them to make us feel good? Wouldn't it be more profound if they make us reflect on ourselves and the choices that we make on a daily basis? For every movie like Endgame, I think we need 2 movies like Logan. I mean, really, like what's more representative of our species? Captain America wielding Mjolnir, or a selfish Charles Xavier getting an entire family murdered just so, he can feel normal again for one night? Would you rather have something with, where they have to arrange all the heroines on screen for one, cringe-worthy social statement? Or is the superior writing seeing Stormfront get beat down and deep-fried as a result of her actions and not to make a social statement, right? And in both scenes, right, like the men were completely useless. They couldn't contribute. They were outclassed. And the ladies had to save their asses. And it didn't have to be announced. It didn't have to be worked into the script. That's just how it was, right? It wasn't there to make anybody feel good. It was part of the story, right? She was one of these people that kept pushing everybody around, pushing everybody's buttons, making threats. And eventually, people get tired of you. And they start to push back. And you find yourself surrounded by enemies. Now, it's pretty well known that if a movie does not, say, end with, justice and rainbows, it may get an unfavorable review. For example, during the quarantine, I've been sending my mother movies and shows because, she's a big movie person like me. And so, I like to keep her occupied and just send her stuff. And so recently I had sent her The Mist, starring Thomas Jane. And she texted me and said that, the ending pissed her off. And though, although she really liked the movie, she may not watch it again due to the ending. And usually if someone isn't willing to rewatch a movie or own it, they're probably not going to recommend it. Now, for me, after Civil War, after Doctor Strange, and Infinity War, Like, I was really impressed with what they had done with these Marvel characters. Because let's just be honest, like, these are not easy characters to put on screen, right? You just, the costumes alone look fantastic in a comic book. Really hard to translate that onto screen without having these people look completely ridiculous, right? There's a reason why Hugh Jackman never showed up in yellow spandex, right? I'm sure the ladies would love it, but he would look absolutely ridiculous. I don't care how ripped he is. So, I was really impressed, especially after Infinity War. I was like, hey, look, I respect any movie that has the balls to kill off, Spider-Man and Black Panther, Drink a beer in memory of Chadwick Boseman. Then we got Endgame, which basically means Infinity War, just doesn't matter, right? So instead, we get fan service and time travel. So that way we don't have to actually deal with, failure and consequences. So it pretty much makes Endgame, a participation trophy that, tells us lies about human nature. Now, just to be clear, look, I cheered when a lot of other people cheered. I laughed at funny moments just like everybody else. The final battle is spectacular. But ultimately, I don't own that movie. I didn't buy it. It's not really something I'm going to rewatch, because to me it's not that good. I know it made a bunch of money and all that, but it completely undoes Infinity War, which was fantastic. With of course I have my gripes, but it was fantastic. So for me, I basically throw that movie on the dung heap, right along with, say, like the original Halloween 2, which I basically just consider a extended, optional, alternative ending. Like, it should just be buried in the menus somewhere if you want to watch it on part 1. But think about it. It's a completely unnecessary movie. Endgame, of course, I knew they were going to make another movie, but I just thought, they could have went somewhere completely different with a story to, cap off, their encounter with Thanos and, what have you. And, same thing with Halloween 2. And, anybody that likes horror, you kind of know the story behind that movie. It's evident in the movie. So think about Halloween 2. How much, think about, how much more frightening would it be to know nothing else about the Shape other than he's still out there. And maybe he's circling around to come back inside the house. Now what? Isn't this partially what Thanos is talking about? Why should humans not have to face inevitability and consequences? Because, if not Thanos, then it would be Dormammu. What's stopping Dormammu from breaking his word? Right? If not Dormammu, then Galactus. Or one of our own. It could easily be Dr. Victor Von Doom and all of his delicious plans. Now, think about it. Wouldn't it mean more that we see Tony Stark, get married and settle down and have a kid, or have multiple kids, right? What if he named his son Peter? Wouldn't that mean a lot more that, Peter Parker's gone. He's gone. He's not coming back. Seeing as how Hawkeye lost his whole family, wouldn't his friendship with Black Widow be stronger? Wouldn't it mean that much more? And wouldn't it be all that much more heartbreaking when he has to sacrifice her, or she sacrifices herself? or the spectacular final battle. Wouldn't there be a lot more gravity when you see who's not there? Like, you could still have the Wakandans show up, but just who's left, right? But since Black Panther's not there, that pain is still there. There's no Spider-Man. So how important was it really if you just completely erased basically everything that happened in Infinity War? And this is one of the reasons why I feel like The Boys is such an important, not just an important comic, independent comic, by the way, but also the show is just really important to sober people, people that manage to watch it, I would say. Because in comes, Billy Butcher, and, he's basically just laying out the facts of life, so that we can actually reflect on our so-called society and possibly make changes. The Boys, rather than, just giving you what they think you want to see, it's holding up a mirror, right? And it's saying, hey, look at all your rampant consumerism. Gaze upon your worship of celebrities. Look at how easily you're herded around with social media. Look at how easily you're influenced by, cable news. And look at the commodification of your chronic narcissism. Look at how much power your apathy gives these corporations, right? And so, with all that, the, I guess the main antagonist on the show, being Homelander, who's fantastic and extremely frightening, he is what's going to scare the shit out of you for the whole show. And so The Boy says, hey, look, we're going to scare the shit out of you. Not with a purple alien, wielding magic stones, but with one of your own, who is the result of the way your species operates, right? Homelander is the result of bloodthirsty capitalism and the absence of humanity. And that's true for the show, and that's true for the comic, right? Just like Edgar says, it's about share prices. And when in the history of anything has it been about anything else, right? And there's not going to be time travel. There's no kryptonite. The only thing that keeps Homelander even slightly in check is his own need for admiration and validation, which are mother's milk to him, right? Right? Because remember, Mr. Edgar had to check Homelander. And he's basically like, hey, look, you can fly around, and you're extremely powerful, and you could laser beam me in like 1 second. But I run this show. This isn't about you, right? This is a pharmaceutical company. So I know you think you're clever, and you think that you're, helping by creating supervillains. But I'm cleaning up after you. And the whole reason the public perceives you the way they do is because of me. Now, don't you have a photo shoot or some kind of charity event that you need to run along to, Blondie? Yeah, run along and let me run the show. Which is fantastic, because it really speaks volumes of his character. Because I don't know about you, but like anytime Homelander's on screen, I'm just like, alright, don't trigger this guy. This guy is just unstable. Right? And Anthony Starr he's amazing the way he brings his character to life. Now, I recently recommended The Boys to a friend of mine who's a comic book nerd. She also loves anime. And she said that she only got through the first 5 episodes. And she said it made her feel bad. She didn't like the way the superhumans were portrayed, and that there weren't, like, they weren't really any good guys. And, I think that says something. Also, I recently watched, it's like a reaction video where they have the cast reading off poor reviews on Amazon. So that really tells you something about what people want to see when it involves, superheroes. People want to be made to feel good. But, the Boys, for me, it joins a very important club. Movies like the original Blade, or of course Joker, Logan, Deadpool, or I would even say, the Daredevil and Punisher series. Now, in a later episode, I'm going to go more in depth on The Boys and the comic, and we'll get into that a lot further. But this just came to my mind, and so I just, after speaking with a friend of mine and watching that video, I was just like, you know what, The Boys is superb, and it's getting a lot of unnecessary flack for, I guess, just telling too much truth. So if you haven't watched The Boys yet, I go watch it right now. Go get Amazon Video, sign up and binge watch it. It's absolutely superb. So, in closing, I would just say, let me just pose a couple questions. Should humanity replace art with products? And if we do, what will we become? So again, thank you for tuning in to the Dope Show podcast. If you like my content, please share it around. I will see you guys in the next episode. And this is Franklin, signing off.